Hi, welcome to Auditorium Cave, the studio, the stone carver studio of McAlistair Hood, stone carver, sculptor, whatever you like to call it, extraordinaire. And I've invited you here for your edification, I guess. I've noticed that there's a certain strata of society that's not been commissioning me, not been attending my or asking me to present to them. So I produced a series of videos on the YouTube, and I've also pre-COVID-19 been doing shows on the road, packed shows, venues bursting at the seams, people coming to see my show. But as I say, I before that I was presenting to rather, I don't know, what should we call them, elitist groups, shall we say, groups like the Upper Basildon Wives Club, the Newbury Wives Club, Probus groups, universities, here in Reading University for example, and that's fine. They'd feed me, give me wine, bung me 50 quid, everyone went away home quite happy about that. But I've been finding is a little bit boring, frankly. I've not been able to tell them what it's really all about. I had to be really polite, can't swear, not that I'm a swearing type of person, but you know, it's all a bit too, you know, a bit too tight around the collar for my liking. Carry on doing it, of course, for these people, but I want to appeal to you, you know, the hoi polloi, yourselves, the proletariat, the man and woman off the street. It's not just an elitist subject. I mean, it is. Figurative stone sculpture is the most elitist subject there is. There is no visual arts format that gets anywhere close to figurative stone sculpture. But that doesn't say, that shouldn't preclude you, the masses, from enjoying it. So we're going to, I've produced a series of talks, roughly about 10 minutes. COVID-19, you're probably watching it in the thick of it. You're probably locked down in your houses and your little tenements and all the rest of it, and your suburban little horrible little houses. You probably want something a little bit more, you know, just to enliven life for you. So I've done that for you. This is what we're here. So we're going to talk about figurative stone sculpture, but in a way that entertains you. Now, the series is divided into sections, and one of the very first section is how on earth do I present to you in a way that you're going to find edifying and yet enjoying. You know, I've noticed, I have done my research, and I've seen various entertainment formats that I might adopt, and we're going to talk about that. And then we're going to talk about, you know, once I've decided, or we've decided amongst ourselves, how to present to you, how you are happy being spoken to by me. You know, you're down there and I'm right up there. How do we communicate? You know, how do we communicate in a way that satisfies you as well as me? Once we've discussed that and come to a conclusion, I'm then going to go on about, you know, what is it should I be sculpting? Someone in my position, someone who's reached the highest pinnacle of achievement as a sculptor and can go no further. What should I now be producing as a sculptor of that standard? And then we'll test that answer. You know, we'll come to a conclusion, we'll test that, and we'll look for that subject in the community. We'll say, well, you know, is this subject in the community, and is this subject something that can carry us forward into the future and still be of interest to those 17 million years into the future? Very important, because figurative stone sculpture lasts for so long. It is the oldest form of visual art form in the world, and it'll last well beyond any other visual art form in the world. So it's important that we choose the right subject for that. So there you have. It's a series of, 10 or 11 or 12 10-minute little sections. So we'll go back to, so let's start off with looking for the way to communicate with you. Now, I've looked around and I've noticed that you're all into your sports, and you're into your comedy, you're into your beer, and you're into your fast foods. I can't produce fast food and make it look sculptural. I can't work that one out. We'll talk about sports people in a minute, but the one I really am with you is the comedians. Now, I've noticed there's several types of comedian, but principally there's two that have got my attention. There's the household name comedians that you get on the TV, and there's the leaner, hungrier, more cutting edge comedians, and we'll talk about them in a minute. First of all, though, as I say, the household names, you're talking about Micky Flanagan, Michael McIntyre, Donald Trump, those comedians that kind of really nail it. They hit the nail on the head every time, have you rolling about in the aisles, clutching your ribs, because they're about to, burst asunder with mirth. And I like them possibly more than the other group, but the other group have their merits too. I like the fact that they unsettle the audience. They talk about subjects you might not find particularly comfortable, but you dare not tell your neighbour or let the comedian or comedienne feel that you're showing any kind of reservation. And they'll come on stage, for example, they'll come on stage right away, and it's almost an exercise in intimidation. They'll come on stage and exert authority and dominance over you straight away by saying, "Hello, my name is such and such, and I'm a transsexual, or I'm bisexual, or I am gender fluid." And instantly you're on the defensive because you've got thoughts and ideas about people like that. But there, he or she is up there telling you, you've got to like me, because otherwise I'm going to make jokes about you in front of all these people. So straight away, and I think to myself, well, maybe I could do that. And I've got history with regards to gender. My God, I mean, these young whippersnappers, when they come on stage, lording it over the audience about their sexuality. I think, just you wait till I start doing that. I mean, I started off as, I could come on stage and I could say straight away, "Hello, Birmingham. Hello, O2 Arena, whatever. I am McAlistair Hood, and I am transgender, and I'm a trisexual." What does that mean, you might ask yourself? If you dared ask yourself that, you might have to just laugh and say, "Wow, amazing." But if you were to, have to, you were able to ask the question, what is transgender? Well, we've all heard transgender. That's just from one gender to the next, to another. I started off as, well, it's no business of yours of what I started off with, but let's just say, for sake of argument, I started off as a male, and that meant I grew up as a, with all the pressures and all the insinuations and all the non-verbal communications as to regards what a male should be, what a boy should be. And I went through the teenage years, pressure to have sex, pressure all the time, got to have sex, and you've got to enjoy the sex too. Well, I got to 17 and I still hadn't had sex, and 18, 19, 20, still no sex, 21, still not having sex. Fortunately, some girl kind of took a shine to me. I guess this is when I started blooming in the way that I bloom now. blossoming, you might say. This girl got hold of me and we had sex. Now, the hype over sex had been so intense. I was expecting and looking forward to something really quite special. And as we were having sex, I noticed this girl, she was away with the clouds. She was in heaven. She was enjoying herself in a way that I wasn't. And I thought to myself, well, what's going wrong here? So we did the business. She went away praising me to the heavens, and I kind of made all the right noises, say, yeah, it was wonderful, wasn't it? And things like that. Anyway, after that, I went straight back to my dad. Said, Dad, bung us a few grand. Something's wrong here. I need to, she was having all the fun. I want that. I'm going to be a girl from now on, or a woman. Give me that money, and I'm going to have a sex change. So off he said, oh, here you are, son. Good luck, boy. Good luck, boy. And off I went and had the sex change. And after everything had healed and I was feeling better and horny again, picked up some, bright young lad, and we had sex. And was that all there was? Is that all? Is that it? I thought to myself. And I thought, oh goodness me, clearly, I was thinking back to that girl, and I was thinking, well, I'm not having the fun that she was having, so something's still wrong. Not happy, having much fun. It's not as like the hype. And so I went back to my dad, and he said, oh, here you are, girl. Do what you have to do. Good luck. So anyway, I'm not going to tell you how that ended up. The course of the series might, reveal what happened there. Likewise, you might be asking, well, what's the trisexual thing? Well, it does stem from me being a transgender, but I also feel, because I'm very competitive, and that's why I'm in such a high echelon profession, I just felt to myself, time and time again, I used to go out with a girl or a boy, and they'd kind of, or try to go out with a girl and a boy, and they'd kind of say, oh, you're lovely, McAlistair. I adore you, but I don't think you're up to my standards. And I'd say, well, why? Because, I think we're attracted to each other. And they'd say something vacuous like, well, I'm bisexual, I don't think you could cope with that. To which I would have to respond, and with increasing regularity, well, fuck you then, because you're just a bisexual, I'm a trisexual. I leave you in my dust. I'm going to go now. Forget it. I'm going to look for someone more adventurous than you, because you're just a bisexual and I'm a trisexual. So off I would go. So anyway, that's how that would pan out. Excuse me a minute. That's rather nice and Riesling. Got a bit of fizz on it, I think. So where are we up to? Okay. We're going to go on in the next series to talk about the household name comedians, because I think we're all more comfortable with those, and we go away from their shows feeling wholly entertained and a happier person than we were when we went into their act. So hopefully you've enjoyed it so far. We'll have big names on this in this series. We've got scientists. We do have a big name comedian who I've mentioned already, and scientists and astronauts and all sorts. The big name artists will make their appearance as well. So hopefully you're all tucked up and happy in your COVID-19 sanctuaries, and tune in tomorrow and we'll talk some more. Thank you very much.